Welcome back to The Mindful Hunter. I'm your host as always, Jay Nichol. And if you want to know how you can win $200 worth of wilderness athlete supplements, learn 7 simple rules to backcountry food planning, and get my entire nutritional breakdown for my sheep hunt, stay tuned. First of all, I want to talk about a guide I wrote. This is the Backcountry meal planning guide that I put together, maybe 7-8 months ago now. And it covers a variety of topics that's going to help you plan efficient and optimal nutritional plans for your backcountry trips. Now, if you want to download a copy of this, you go to mindfulhunter.com/tools, enter your email address, and I'll send this PDF over to you. You do get put on a newsletter, but if you want to unsubscribe, feel free. I email very rarely, and I don't spam at all. Now first, let's break down the 7 simple rules to backcountry meal planning. Number 1, nice and simple. Bring 3,000 to 4,000 calories per day. Number 2, a little counterintuitive. The longer the hunt, the less food you bring. Number 3, shoot for a macro breakdown of 40% carbs, 40% fats, and 20% protein. Number 4, time your carb intake before high energy activities and your fat and protein intake before low energy activities. Number 5, you must ensure to bring adequate electrolytes, omega-3s, curcumin, probiotics, multivitamins, greens, and fiber supplements. This is the one that you're not going to see anybody else mention anywhere else. You might see the omega-3s, you'll see electrolytes, but as far as the anti-inflammatories, the probiotics, the greens, and the fiber supplements, I don't hear anybody referencing these, and they're absolutely paramount to a fully efficient backcountry meal plan. Number 6, the food for each day goes in a 1-gallon Ziploc bag, and then you load those 1-gallon bags into dry bags. If you're going on a 7-day or less trip, you put them all in one. As soon as it starts getting over 7 days, I split them in half for a variety of reasons that we'll get into later. And finally, daily intake is structured around 3 main meals with snacks and drinks scattered throughout as energy requires. Now let's talk macronutrients and energy systems. If you want to deep dive into this, read the guide. I'm only going to go over it in high level here. You will see a lot of people advocate for a high-fat diet in the backcountry. I'm not a fan of this. Carbs are a more readily available energy source, and they're unless you're in a state of ketosis on a regular basis, they're what your body is used to using for energy. Yes, your body can use fat, but if you're not fat adapted, it is an inefficient system, and you're gonna bonk out on the mountains. So carbs are for energy that's being used immediately. Fats are to store energy, and proteins are to build and repair muscle tissue. Now, when we talked about the 7 simple rules, I got into a little bit about macro timing. So the way I want you to think about it is that if you're just about to engage in a high energy level activity, such as just about to go on a big hike, that's when you want to load up with carbs 30 to 45 minutes before then. If you eat a bunch of fats, they're going to sit in your stomach, they're going to slow your digestion down, and they're going to cause an inefficient distribution of energy. So carbs before high energy. But then after the hike is done and you get to the top of the glassing knoll and you know you're going to be sitting there for 2 or 3 hours, that's when you're going to pop a couple handfuls of macadamia nuts, because you're going to be sitting around, you're going to have time to digest and process those fats and convert them into energy that they can be used for later. So like I said, that's a very high level overview of all the details that are in this guidebook, but I highly recommend you read the guidebook, and please feel free to hit me up either in the comments below or shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm happy to go over this in more detail if you think it's going to be beneficial. Now, let's talk about my specific hunt. So I am going on a 15-day solo sheep hunt in the Northern Rockies. It's fly in, I'm getting dropped off at a lake, and like I said, I'm going to be there for 15 days solo. Now, there's something particularly interesting about this hunt that I've never done before. Typically, when I load up, I go out for one big stretch, unless I'm bivvy hunting, where I'll be back at the truck on a regular basis. But due to the particular terrain and topography of this hunt, I'm going to be utilizing more of a base camp strategy. So I will be creating a base camp where I get dropped off at the lake, and then I have a series of loops planned out from there. Some as long as 8 days, some as short as 2 days. Now what this gives me the ability to do is that I don't have to carry all my food at once. The most I'm ever gonna have to carry is 10 days. When I go on the 8-day loop and I wanna bring 2 backup days just in case. Other than that, all the rest of my foods can stay at camp, and I can actually leave extra food at camp in order to facilitate re-energizing and kind of bulking up on extra calories, if you will, when we get back to camp. Now, the reason this is such a cool feature is that typically you are limited to the duration of the hunt with how much food you can carry. But by utilizing this base camp strategy, I'm kind of hacking the system, and I'm going to be able to bring more calories with me than I typically would. Now let's break down my exact meal plan for the hunt. I am a creature of habit. I like eating the same thing over and over again. I find foods that I like, that I digest well, and that have a high caloric density, and I stick with those year after year. If this doesn't work for you, feel free to mix it up a little bit. So overall, I'm going to be bringing approximately 3,400 calories per day, and that's going to be weighing in at 1.7 pounds. Now, another tip, always reweigh your food fully bagged once you're actually packed up and ready to go. So here's 1 full day's worth of food. It's packed up, it's field stripped, it's ready to go. I threw it on the scale. It weighs exactly 1.7 pounds. Now, what I notice some people do is they go off all the packaging weights, and most of those packaging weights disregard the physical packaging that the food is actually in. And there's like little tidbits that don't get added up, and you end up being 10 to 15% overweight, or 10 to 15% underestimated on your total weight. So always weigh it once you're done with all the packaging in your 1 gallon Ziploc bags. So over the course of the day, I will be ingesting 1,463 calories of fat, 1,296 calories of carbohydrates, and 612 calories of protein for 42%, 37%, 18% split. That's 163 grams of fat, 324 grams of carbs, and 153 grams of protein. Now, as far as the food per day, I'm bringing 1 scoop of whey isolate, which I add to my Peak Refuel berry granola in the morning. And when I field strip the berry granola, which I will show you after this section, I add the protein to that vacuum seal bag so I don't need to worry about carrying it extraneously in the bag. I bring 4 packages of Starbucks Via Italian roast or the French roast. I prefer a dark roast. 1 package of trail mix, a Green Bellies meal for lunch, 1 package macadamia nuts, a Cliff Builder protein bar, chocolate peanut butter is preferred, Peak Refuel dinner, 1 packet of MCT oil, which I add to the Peak Refuel dinner when I field strip it. I bring 1/2 of a bacon sausage that I get from this deli at the end of my street, which is insane. It's on Commercial Drive. If you haven't had that sausage and you're in the Vancouver area, get that sausage and take some with you in the backcountry. The reason I like taking a dried sausage, you want things you can nibble on throughout the day. And with a sausage, you can just reach in there, crack a bite, put it back in. It keeps your mind and your body occupied. And then I will be bringing a little Ziploc bag of greens with additional fiber added to it. And then I will be bringing a couple different forms of electrolytes, and I'll also be bringing some omega-3s and multivitamins. And I'm going to get into the specifics when we talk about the giveaway products, because Wilderness Athlete is supplying all those. I've used the Wilderness Athlete products for years. I love them. And when I approached them this year and said, listen, I'm going to do a video breakdown, would you be interested in teaming up on a giveaway? And we'll give away an exact replica of what I'm using on my hunt. And they were totally supportive. Awesome guys down there, Kevin and the rest of the crew, nothing but love. So again, we add all that up, and I'm at about 3,400 calories at 1.7 pounds per day with a balanced carb, fat, moderate protein, macronutrient breakdown. Now, I kept using the term field strip. What exactly do I mean by field stripping? So you can see that I save about 25 grams per meal by field stripping it. So if I do this to my breakfast and my dinner, I can save 50 grams per day, which is about 2 ounces. Now, on a 10-day hunt, that's 20 ounces. So that's 1.25 pounds or 1.25 pounds. There are things I have spent thousands of dollars on in order to save 1.25 pounds from going into my backpack. My rifle is a prime example. I upgraded from a Tikka T3X to a Fierce CT Rival. Cost me about $5,000 more and only weighs about 1.25 pounds less. So field stripping is one of those things that I highly recommend doing. The other thing that I do is I bring 2 little binder clips, you know, those little metal clips. They're also the same thing you use to keep potato chips bags closed. And then what I do when I open the vacuum seal bag, I pour in my hot water. I'll kind of give it 2 little rolls and then I'll pinch it closed with those clips. And I just keep those clips in my day bag. All right, let's talk giveaway. So everything you see there is being given away. Electrolytes, the good stuff, the green supplements, the hero packs, a hat, and a Nalgene bottle. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to my Instagram page. You're gonna see a photo of the giveaway products with a big giveaway right across the top. You need to follow me. You need to follow Wilderness Athlete. And you're gonna get 1 entry for every person that you tag. In addition to this, if you're listening to the podcast version of this breakdown, or you want to go to the podcast after watching this on YouTube, if you give me a rating and then leave a comment mentioning the Wilderness Athlete episode, I will give you 5 additional bonus entries. Also, if you repost my post on your stories, you will get 5 additional entries. Now, all of that is going to be in the comment below, and it will be on the post on Instagram. The contest is going to be live for 1 week, and if you're watching or listening to this after it's expired, I'm sorry, don't worry. We got lots more cool giveaways coming up in the very near future. All right, that was a ton of information. Quick recap. Go download the meal planning guide. Read it in detail. If you have any questions, feel free to get back to me. Then go enter for your chance to win the Wilderness Athlete supplements. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section below or shoot me a DM on Instagram. All right, good luck this season, everyone.